Over 30 years ago, the Lord called a young couple into His service and gave them a promise verse. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will do this in its time. Isaiah 60:22. It is truly remarkable to see how far Gilgal Gospel Mission has come. The founders, the late Reverend Dr. Chalaya Russellaya and Mrs. K. Christabel Russellaya, were a young couple recently married and on their first pastoral assignment in one of the most affluent churches of Secunderabad, one of India's many cities. Responding to a call to serve the poor and marginalized, they embarked on a journey that would continue for years to come. What began as a weekend ministry to rural villages in and around Secunderabad and Hyderabad became a full-fledged church planting ministry with the planting of 3 village churches in the 5 years of their ministry in Andhra Pradesh. The founders gave 2 of the first churches to the established denomination, the Church of South India, but the 3rd church was not accepted. In order to provide for the one remaining church, and having been reminded of the promise verse already given to them, the founders registered Gilgal Gospel Mission in 1979. What was birthed to provide for a single church has grown into 4 flourishing ministry wings: the Indian Missionary Church, St. Phillips School, the Indian Theological Seminary, and Children's Home. Indian Missionary Church. The Indian Missionary Church, or GGM's church planting wing, continues to face challenges, some very different from those faced at inception and some the same. In addition to the personal evangelism and door-to-door house visiting strategy of the 1970s, the continuing proclamation of salvation and good news has been adapted to the 21st century with innovative methods such as puppet shows and presentations, gospel campaigns, youth camps,
என்னுடைய எதிர்காலத்துக்கு எனக்கு இப்பொழுது வேணும்னு சொல்றவங்க கையை தூக்குங்க, வெட்கப்படாதீங்க. நம்ம இப்ப துள்ள போகல,
கணக்காகவே 4 நாள் கன்வென்ஷன் வைக்கணும்னா எப்படி படி எடுத்து போகுது? இங்க உட்கார்ந்து ஜெபிக்கும் போது அதுக்காக ஜெபித்தேன். ஆண்டவர் என்ன விசுவாசித்தாங்க.
உங்களுக்கு யோசனை பண்ண காரியம் மேக்ஸிங் சம்திங் டிஃப்ரெண்ட். அதாவது ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு குக்கிராமத்தில் ஆண்டவர் பற்றி அறியாத ஒரு கிராமத்தில் இவ்வளோ அட்டாசமாக நடத்துகிற ஒரு கிறிஸ்துவ கூடவே நான் முதல்ல பார்க்குறேன். அதுவும் ரொம்ப தூரத்துலேருந்து ரொம்ப பேர் பயணம் பண்ணி இதுக்கு நான் வாஞ்சையாக ஜெபம் பண்ணி ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணுறது எல்லாமே டிஃப்ரெண்ட்டாக இருக்குது. ஆண்டோட மெயினான கிருபை மட்டும் தான்.
medical care camps, and VBS ministries. GGM's first Missionaries Conference convened 25 missionaries and their spouses. Missionaries were rooted once again in GGM's history and vision, discussed practical methods of preaching Christ in the villages, and shared their challenges and questions. Most realized that they encountered similar stumbling blocks regardless of their location. India's caste system, family ties and persecution, demon possession, sickness, poverty, ignorance, and superstition are the predominant barriers for people to accept the truth. GGM's goals for the Indian Missionary Church were presented, and goals were established for individual churches. A new church was recently dedicated in Adeyablum Arani on September 11, 2011. This church was sponsored by the Albers in memory of their eldest son Nicholas, a true witness of Christ, who after having suffered a neck injury, went to be with the Lord when he was 20 years old. Nicholas's testimonial life has not only brought about the construction of a new church, but a whole flock of new believers. The GGM missionaries have also seen the fruit of their labor with 6 baptisms in August and September 2011. All of these converts were previously Hindus and have come to the knowledge of their Savior through GGM missionaries.
ஆண்டவருக்குள்ளே போனோன்னு ஒரு அபிப்பிராயம் இருந்தது. ஞானஸ்தானம் கொடுக்கணும் நம்ம ஒரு ஆசை இருந்தது. நான் ஆண்டவருக்காக அதனால் இப்போ வந்து ஞானஸ்தானம் கொடுத்தேன்.
கர்த்தருக்கு ஸ்தோத்திரம். நாங்கள் ஃபஸ்ட்டு விக்கிரத்தை தான் வணங்கி நின்றோம். இப்போ நாங்கள் ஆண்டவர்கிட்ட வந்ததுக்கப்புறம் எங்களுக்கு வாழ்க்கையில் நிம்மதியாக இருக்குது. நாங்கள் ஆண்டவர்கிட்ட இப்போ இருக்கிறோம். முழுமையாக கிறிஸ்டினாக நாங்கள் மாறிட்டோம்.
As of September 2011, GGM has 23 built churches and 8 church planning centers in rural villages of South India. The IMC churches continue to be pillars of light in unreached villages of India. St. Phillips School. This year, the St. Phillips School has 4 teachers and 1 teacher's aide with a student body of 50 students. St. Phillips has 2 small buildings of its own and continues to thrive, providing quality education with Christian values at minimal cost. The surrounding slums have benefited greatly from this witness of Christian nature and community-based service. Indian Theological Seminary. The students and faculty of Indian Theological Seminary participate in all aspects and programs of Gilgal Gospel Mission and its ministries. In addition to their mandatory weekly practical ministry in rural villages on the weekends, the students also participate in annual gospel campaigns. The students and faculty of the Indian Theological Seminary form teams and journey to GGM's Indian missionary churches for weekend camps. This rigorous experience teaches students practical mission outreach techniques, and the villages are blessed with the message of the gospel. While ITS students visit village church plants each weekend learning practical ministry skills, the amazing experience of living with the villagers for 3 days and nights is the heart of the gospel campaign. Being miles from civilization, students experience just some of the sacrifices that missionaries endure, such as carrying water for cooking and bathing, collecting firewood, cooking on an open fire, sleeping on a thin mat, and having no access to electricity. Yet they are doubly blessed for their struggles as they meet with the unreached people to visit homes, heal the sick, and cast out demons. The spiritual life and academic proficiency of students are enhanced with daily chapel services, community fellowship, 24 hours chain of prayer, fasting prayers.
Last 2 months we can see that in our campus we had
spiritual life conferences.
So I started a Sunday morning service in my house. My wife and myself, my mother-in-law and my faithful father-in-law and my brother,
and special workshops and seminars.
Telling that after 1,500 years they found that stone, still the blood was fresh.
In July 2011, some of the faculty and students of ITS participated in a Theology of Work course offered in association with the Baki Graduate University and funded by the Mustard Seed Foundation. The Indian Theological Seminary is situated within the headquarters of Gilgal Gospel Mission. In addition to the main building, a male dormitory was built in the early 2000s to house the growing student body. But ITS is currently in need of a new and more spacious library. By God's grace, building permits have been granted, and we were able to lay the cornerstone for a new seminary library in April 2011. It will be named the Dr. Kenneth N. Taylor Library in honor of the late founder of Tyndale House Publishers, who grasped the vision of GGM's founder, the late Reverend Dr. Chalaya Rasalaya, to publish a Tamil Bible commentary. The original grant was for one book, but now those funds will be used to house a collection of thousands. ITS received accreditation to Asia Theological Association for BTH and MDiv in the late 1990s, and affiliation to the Senate of Sarambur for BTH in 2000 and for Integrated BD in 2010. ITS also offers certificate and diploma courses. As of this academic year, ITS has 12 teaching and 8 non-teaching staff with a student body of 50 students. The Indian Theological Seminary serves as a backbone to all the ministries of Gilgal Gospel Mission. Children's Home. Since 1992, more than 60 children have been raised at the Children's Home. Many came to the home as mere toddlers. Today, 25 children are being cared for and raised in the knowledge of the love of Christ. Most of these children are originally from Hindu families, but all have now come to know the Lord. The children participate in all of GGM's events, displaying their ability to dance, sing, and put on plays. We believe this is essential for the children to grow up without the taboo attached to orphan children in India. In more ways than one, the self-confidence of our children is boosted, and they are encouraged to aspire to do anything that more privileged children can do. After turning 18, many of the children who grew up at the home have left to their own families, jobs, and some have gone on to college. Presently, 3 of the GGM kids are pursuing college degrees in fields such as commerce and computer applications. With the help of generous friends and partners around the world, construction of the new children's home began in August 2010, and though there are many needs to be met before the children move to their new home, we believe the Lord will soon bring the building to completion. The children's home children still reside in the first GGM building, but will soon be moving to their larger, more spacious, and better equipped 3,500 square foot home. In addition to the many programs and events that each separate ministry is a part of, there are certain events that the entire GGM community participates in as a family. Every September, the entire GGM family gathers to celebrate GGM's inception and give thanks to God for His provision over 3 decades. After worship and prayer, ministry representatives present highlights of the year's achievements and goals for the future.
Let's all stand and clap our hands, and we will sing this song in 2 languages. Chief daughters.
Years ago, the Lord called a young couple into His service and gave them a promise verse.
Who has strengthened me to stand before you. Bible says the Lord has called the foolish ones.
Each ministry then provides an entertainment program to the gathered crowd, and the evening ends with a community dinner. The Harvest Festival is our annual fundraiser conducted every October. Stalls with eatables, games, and an auction bring in funds used for the ongoing ministries. The annual GGM Children's Rally, which congregates almost 1,000 children from all the GGM churches and church planning centers, is conducted in January of every year. It is a day of fellowship, fun, and activities. The village children display all they have learned in Sunday school, be it memory verses, action songs, or special skits, and each child goes home at the end of the day with the message of the gospel. Christmas celebrations include gifts for each GGM child. All children of GGM staff receive a special stocking, lovingly made and stuffed with gifts by friends and partners in America. Christmas carol rounds and various other community-based events encourage and strengthen the GGM family as it works together as one body to preach Christ and plant churches among the unreached of India. To look back on our humble beginnings is to marvel at the remarkably quick and steady pace at which GGM has grown. From a ministry without a place to call home, we have now been blessed with a 12,000 square foot headquarters, also serving as the Indian Theological Seminary. When the founder, Reverend Dr. Chalaya Rasalaya, passed away in May 2009, the Lord gave those who remained a special verse. Today I declare that I will restore to you double. Zechariah 9:12. Over the past 2 years, GGM staff has increased from 33 to 51, and our friends and partners in India and America have doubled. Clearly, the Lord keeps His promises and our efforts are being blessed by Him. On behalf of everyone here at Gilgal Gospel Mission, it is our request to each of you to continue to pray for and support GGM Ministries. The vision of this ministry cannot be accomplished alone. We rest in the promise that the Lord will provide and that we will all walk together, 1,000 strong, a great nation in the promised land. Thank you all, and God bless you.